Hello again, Internet. Today I wanted to talk to you about why no one from Roger's crew has claimed the title Pirate King. So as we know, there are plenty from his crew that would have been strong enough after Roger was executed to claim the title. Um, Shanks, in particular, we know that Roger almost picked Shanks as his successor, right? He gave Shanks his straw hat. We don't know how important hat was to Roger, but we know that the fact that he would give it to Shanks really showed his trust. And Shanks is clearly strong enough to become Pirate King. And there are two requirements for being Pirate King, right? The first is being strong enough to fight off any contenders, and the second is being able to get to Raftel. Those are the two requirements to be able to claim the title. But from what we know, from what Whitebeard said and what we saw during the flashback to Whitebeard's conversation with Roger, there's more to being Pirate King than just being able to claim the title. And we know this also from Rayleigh's conversation with Luffy and Rayleigh's conversation with Shanks. So first, I'll talk about what the more is, I guess. So we saw from Whitebeard that the person that claims the title, they almost have a responsibility after they become the king to fight against the world government. Whatever the One Piece is, and whatever the will of the D is, whatever you learn when you get to Raftel, you will start a war with the world government. That's what Whitebeard said. When you get to Raftel, when someone gets there, they'll come back carrying the weight of the world, and they'll fight against the world government. We know that. So I think first off, why Roger didn't start that war is because of his disease, right? Roger knew he was going to die soon anyway. He wanted to, above all, protect his crew, and he knew that if he started this war and he wasn't able to finish it before he died, his crew would be in trouble. Because as strong as they were, they probably weren't strong enough to go up against the world government and the rest of the world without him. Because Roger, as we've seen from flashbacks and stuff, Roger didn't really have a fleet, it seemed. Roger was just Thor or Jackson. So Roger couldn't start a fight with the world government if he couldn't finish it. So instead, he gave himself over and got executed in exchange for his crew being safe. So then Rayleigh's not going to do it because he respects Roger's wishes, right? And he just didn't really want to. After Roger died, he didn't have the will. But why didn't Shanks, if he was outlined as Roger's successor? I think it's important to note that when Roger became Pirate King, Shanks was still basically just a cabin boy. He wasn't strong enough to take over them. So why hasn't he done it yet? I think what we know about Shanks is kind of that he's carefree. He cares about his crew above all else, but like he doesn't seem. He has a plan, but he doesn't seem like the type of guy that would start a war. It also might have something to do with the will of D. Maybe he doesn't think he's able to because he doesn't have the D. But I think it's important to note what he said to Rayleigh about Luffy and what Rayleigh said to Luffy. So Shanks said to Rayleigh that there was a kid that said the same exact thing that their captain Roger said, and that's that he wants to be Pirate King because he wants to be free. And Rayleigh then asked Luffy, "Hey, do you think you can conquer the sea? Can you control it?" And Luffy's like, "No, I don't want to, because being Pirate King is just about being free." And so I think it's important to note that those two had that conversation. So Shanks seems to think that Luffy is a good successor for Roger. He gave Luffy the hat that marked him as Roger's successor. Um, and he's expecting Luffy to go on and um, be Pirate King. And so why Luffy? I think it's because Shanks realizes that Luffy has. It's not just because of the will of D. It's because he thinks Luffy's going to be strong enough, and because of what Mihawk said about Luffy, that Luffy's power is to get other people to follow them. Shanks knows that to beat the world government, it can't just be one crew. All of the pirates, every strong person in the world needs to go up against the world government in order to make the change happen. So Shanks knows that he didn't have this power. As much as he cares about his crew, it's his crew. He doesn't have the strength or not the strength, but he doesn't have that same ability that Luffy has to to lead people just because they follow him. He would need a better reason than that. People would need a reason to follow most people, but not Luffy. People just follow Luffy, and Shanks knows that. So I think Shanks has been spending his time looking for the successor to sorry about that, to Roger. And so that's why Shanks hasn't become Roger's successor, because he knows that he doesn't have the power necessary, not the physical strength, but the ability to take people to his side that's necessary to accomplish the goal of the Pirate King. Because being Pirate King isn't just getting the title. If it was that, Shanks would have done it. Shanks is strong enough, and he has the means. He knows where Raftel is. But he hasn't done that, and that's because he knows the secret to the world, and he knows that that means challenging the world government, and he needed someone else to take that title. And later we'll talk about why or how Shanks settled on Luffy to take that title. But until next time, tell me what you thought, and stay classy, Internet.